for somebody who's interviewing inspectors, which everyone should do because you're putting together your team, what are some good questions to ask to kind of make sure that they know what they're doing? You have to be able to trust your entire team. You need your realtor to be trustworthy. You need or property manager or both, whatever. You need your mortgage broker to be trustworthy. Yeah. You need your inspector. Like, you need everyone to be working for the same goal, which is to cover you, the client.
Yeah,
and that's the big thing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bamboo, Vancouver's property management and investment podcast. This week, I'm here with Mike Jury from Best Coast Inspections.
Yes,
and we're basically just going to go through some of the ins and outs of what's happening with a modern inspector for a home. As if it's no longer just getting Uncle Bob to come and
poke
around.
Yeah. Uncle Bob with his tool belt with half the tools on it, or tools that we don't use.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess but to start off with, like, what did you do before you were an inspector? What brought you here?
Yeah, well, I was a teacher.
Okay.
I taught special ed in the Burnaby School District, and just figured, I'm like, you know what, it's time to work for myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
Be my own boss. I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
From a very young age, and the time was right. I was able to go to school part-time while working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been good.
Excellent. Good. I guess that with the teaching background, that probably helps you explain what you found and whatnot, at least better than the average Joe.
Yeah, you're the first person to actually say that to me. In all these years, most people are like, oh, that's quite the career change. And it's like, well, not really. It's just a different classroom now.
Yeah, exactly. It's all education.
It's all education, right?
Yeah.
Especially first-time home buyers. I do lots of inspections for them.
Yeah.
And I'm able to kind of teach them how the home works.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is actually, it seems to be a lost part of generally the entire real estate industry. I think it seems to be lost with a lot of people. You see a lot of realtors, and I know I'm going to catch flack for this, all doing, hashtag blessed and showing off their rented Porsche or whatever.
Yep.
But this is an education industry. So, like, you should be telling people why things are happening, what they're happening, give the information away, much like a podcast, mm-hmm. and teach, because there's no reason for it to be gatekeeping and shroud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, isn't that like what sales is? Is like, people want answers. They have questions, or they need something. They need something, and they need someone to help them answer those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I think is something that sometimes gets a little bit lost. You look at all these selling Sunset and all this other nonsense from HGTV, or what's that guy, Mike Holmes out there smashing everything because it has a drinking water faucet or something.
It's amazing that his show was like basically primarily blasting home inspectors for all those years. And now, believe it or not, he has his own franchise of home inspection companies. He's his own. They reached out to me a couple of years ago to purchase a franchise.
Oh wow,
Mike Holmes inspection franchise. And I said,
like, I'm already Mike.
I'm already a Mike. So it's all good. It's all good.
So I guess getting into, like, with the education part of it, there's licensing for property management. There's licensing for real estate transaction sales, and that. There obviously must be some licensing for inspection. Can you tell us a bit about that? What qualifications do you need? How do you become an inspector, basically?
Absolutely, yeah. There's numerous ways that you can go about it. Our governing body is Consumer Protection, BC.
Okay.
So they require formal education, like so many hours of coursework.
Yeah.
Followed by supervised field training.
Okay.
With accredited trainer.
Okay.
Which is what I do now, kind of mentoring the new people coming into the field. And after that, it's you do your training, you do your final exam, with a qualified examiner, and boom, pay your thousands of dollars to get the license and insurance, and now it's about finding the work, right?
So with the like, what does the course look like? I mean, you have to do inspections, obviously, but do they just essentially have a book of good and bad things, and you say good, bad, good, bad. Like, how does the course look exactly?
So they cater it around like the scope of work. So part of the inspection is identifying the certain materials, like what type of siding do we have, what's the roof made of, what's the plumbing, and then it's about discovering the defects for those components. To answer your original question, the most of the courses are broken down into 10 modules.
Okay.
So exterior, interior, electrical, plumbing, and so on. You'll spend time doing those courses. There's little mini quizzes.
Yeah.
And then you write an exam. The way it's structured here in BC is you can do all the courses, and once you're finished and you pass that course, you have to do either provincial exam, or you wait until you're done all the courses and then you write a national exam. For all the courses that you've already taken.
Yeah, no, there is difference licensing between different provinces, I imagine, because like obviously if you're up in Nunavut, you're going to have more issues with freezing than you will down in BC.
That's right. and it's surprising. I believe that Ontario or maybe Quebec and BC, there's only like 2 provinces that require licensing in Canada.
So you just kind of go do your own thing.
Yeah, if you're in Alberta, it's literally the wild, wild west of home inspectors there. Yeah.
Wow. That maybe it'll help if people get their license here and then go do it elsewhere. You can say, at least I'm trained.
Yes. Right? Yeah. I did a job up in Yukon last year. I got called to a chiropractic office because apparently the inspector up there is not very good. So they paid me to fly up. And it's funny because the day before I was like, I wonder if I'm licensed, if I'm insured, if my insurance will cover me in Yukon. That, right? So I called my gal. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're good all over Canada."
Oh, that's a good thing to know.
Let's go.
So now you did touch on about the course having the different modules, interior, exterior. Are there specific areas that you really think should be very focused on during an inspection, in particular, or like obviously check out the whole place, but I mean, are there certain ones that like do not miss this?
Absolutely, yeah. It's I think for most homes or older homes, and I'll say this, we offer the service. There's 4 points: exterior components, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. Okay. Obviously, exterior, it's your siding, the roof, drainage around the property. The reason why I picked those 4, or why they choose those 4, is that if they can be really expensive to repair, and if they're not functioning, the home's pretty uncomfortable to live in. Yeah, especially around plumbing, right? Plumbing issues. I think those are the more important finds. If there's water going where it shouldn't, it's
can lead to problems.
It can definitely lead to problems, right? Yeah, and I know. Yeah, we're gonna touch on that. We'll touch on that eventually. But it's also safety hazards like older homes, like with do-it-yourself electrical work.
Yeah, which probably is in the older homes. Family home, pops it. Crush a couple of beers and fix that with his. Yeah. So maybe might not be code. Hey,
I just did a house before I came here, and it was like all the GFCI outlets in the bathroom, the bottom plug was broken. Like it was functioning, but the little cover plate plastic in front was cracked, and I'm like, what did they do to this? Like every single bathroom had that bottom plug was broken. So it's like, you definitely want to look for safety issues, and water ingress.
Yeah. So I guess we might as well talk about the mold since we already mentioned it. Look at me go, right? Need more coffee. So one of the things that comes up, especially in the property management side, I've noticed is you'll have somebody just try to break their lease or move out and claim that it's mold. And it's very difficult to prove, especially when you're going to the quite biased RTB already, because pictures aren't scratch and sniff. So how do I say that my nose smelt it and yours didn't, or vice versa? How can we prove if there is or is not mold?
Haze, you got to get it tested. Yeah. We'll get some surface samples, send it to the lab. For us, it's a 24 to 36 hour turnaround time. It's
pretty good time.
For that. Or we're doing air quality testing. Where we're setting up an air sampling pump. We put the little cartridge on top. It can, room this size, it'll draw in all the air. send it to the lab, check for mold spores. We will also do a control sample on the exterior. We live in a climate where mold is present.
Wet.
Yeah, so as long as like the levels inside the home aren't similar or greater than what's on the outside, or we got dangerous levels of like the black mold
that's what I think. Like, it got out the word about black mold, and now anything that appears black, whether it be dirt, dust, or actually black mold, is all black mold now. And
that's
like,
right.
No, it's not.
Yeah. The place I just left, they had you walk in and like they have like the windows are closed, there's blinds, and then they got this thick dark curtain over top. And when I pulled it back, like all the like the frame and in front of the sill is all like dark.
Yeah.
And the client's like, oh my gosh, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there's clearly not enough ventilation.
Yeah.
You got to clean this area out, crack the window, and dry. It wasn't wet, but it was just dirty.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. So people see that and they immediately go, it's black mold. It's like, no, it's just dirt that got mixed with water. It's mud, guys.
Clean the dark window and open it up.
Yeah. Which is funny you mentioned about the air circulation, because we have a lot of tenants who come here on the rental side and they're from hotter climates. And so I will tell them, they tell me about their windows are sweaty, and I'll tell these guys here from like really hot climates, like, oh yeah, just crack your window open a little bit. Like, it's -4. What? No, I'll freeze my balls off, type of thing. And it's like, no, you'll be fine. And at first, when I tell them this, they think that I'm out of my damn mind.
Yeah.
What? Why are you opening your window in winter?
Yeah. And we see that with like people that come from poor countries or grew up poor. They don't want to. They'll have the heat on, but they don't want to open up the window because they feel it's like the heat's just gonna escape. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay, like to have a window open while your heat's on and make them comfortable, but still get that airflow.
Yeah, I mean, we've all had that parent. You're trying to heat the whole neighborhood?
We all have
exactly. Every single one.
Exactly, Dad. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, Dad.
Yeah, or the pops, if you touch the temperature control, he's like,
huh? Yeah.
What happened?
It's like, sorry, I forgot to turn the light off in my room for the millionth time.
So, with everything going on, like, things are perpetually changing. So obviously you took your course quite some time ago. I'm sure codes have changed, like you mentioned, the GFCI. Yeah. They weren't mandatory, now they are. And I've seen older places with windows that open all the way up, like a kid could fall out that type of thing. The code has changed. How do you guys stay up to date with new materials, new code practices, whatever it may be, like, because it's not static from even 10 years ago?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. The most inspectors will be a member of some sort of association. CAPI is a big one here. HIABC, Inspector Association of British Columbia, or Internachi, which we are members of. And all these associations will require continuing education.
Yeah.
If you want to stay a member, realtors have that too, right?
Yeah, we have to update every 2 years.
You got continuing ed. Yeah. What happens if you don't do the courses?
You don't get licensed.
They won't give you your license.
Done.
Like right up to that date, they don't give you like, oh, you got 90 days to do it.
Yeah. And then if you're not,
is it 90 days?
No. Well, they give you like over a year warning.
Yeah.
You'll always find some people who procrastinate and then like, oh my god, I got 30 days to get this done. Like, dude. You had 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's it? Well, I'm of the school where it's like, if you're relying on like what you learned like 5 years ago, you're probably already behind.
Yeah,
exactly. like there's code changes. There's technical safety BC. Will release reports. It's good to stay up to date with that. And also, like, what I focus on is just growing my network of qualified like HVAC professionals, roofers, siding guys. That way, you can have conversations. I'm like, hey, what's new? What are you installing? Or if I'm on site, I'm like, hey, I've never seen that before. That's pretty new. You can reach out to them and
ask about what are you looking at?
Yeah. The network is huge. That's what I tell inspectors, like, find like people in your that you know, like, and trust who you can ask these questions to.
That's one of the reasons, actually, like, when there's inspections that we always show up for it. Some rentals do, some realtors don't, but I always do, just because I find a lot of the time I can pick up something, like inspector will point out, oh, that's whatever, like, so then later on when I'm showing place, like, oh, I know what that is, or a client asks me, what is that? Well,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Now I look like a smarty pants.
Yeah. And I was telling you know, like, for you too, like if you ever run that situation, you're like, hey, what's going on here? They ask you something. You got technology. Just take a photo, send it to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll get an answer for you.
So during an inspection, if you find something wrong, like for instance, one of our past clients, we had to actually back off of a deal because we found an issue. What happens? Like, how do you purvey this?
That's condo. You can talk about that condo that we did in Port Moody. Yes, So that's you know that. So what was the original question? How do
how do we handle that? Like
I just had a flashback to it. I'm like, wait, how can I remember?
Yeah, because I mean, even the current owners didn't know that was there, because why would you be running around with an infrared camera?
Yes, yeah,
right. So like, how does that get handled? You discover this. Do you just freak out and run out the door? Like, what's the plan?
No, not at all. It's, dude, everyone's buying a home. I mean, I want to say for a different reason, but they have reasons why they're buying that place.
Yeah,
you know, some of the structures that I learned from, they were like, okay, well, if you kill the deal, you kill the deal, and I'm like, well, that's not a good way to stay like in business for very long.
That's a bad,
you know,
business
like,
model.
and that's why I say, like, you know, everyone's got different budgetary restraints. You know, like they're buying the house, and it could be like full of poly B. There could be a leak from the jacuzzi tub upstairs. But yeah, mom and dad live like 2 houses down.
Yeah.
It's in a good school catchment, you know, so you never want to talk about, it's about being solution oriented, right? Getting answers for the people. Again, that's where the network comes in. Our reporting software will, you know, depending on what we find, we have a list of contractors. Yeah. You know, that all they got to do is just hit a button. It'll fire off an email to them.
Oh, that's pretty helpful.
You know, it actually sends them the photo of what the issue is with the description, you know, similar to what's in the report. But yeah, like everything can be fixed. It's, there shouldn't be anything that really kills the deal, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, certain things should kill the deal. I mean, that's functionally what it is. Like I just had some first-time buyers, and they wanted to know what happens with the inspection. I basically said, we do the inspection, and then once we do find what's going on with the place, your options are basically adjust the price, accept it, or walk.
Yeah.
Like, these are your options here, right?
Yeah.
And I have had deals like quite a few years ago. It doesn't come up that often where it's just FUBAR and no longer feasible or reasonable to purchase something. But when you do get that, like, would you rather spend $500 and find out that this is going to cost you $10,000 later on in repairs and a giant headache and swinging hammers and all that? Or would you rather just go in blind and buy it anyways, and then now you're going to get hit with all this? So like, it's sort of an investment. So like, even if it does kill the deal, it's probably for the better, to be perfectly honest.
we have noticed that with regards to strata complexes, like condos and townhouses, where there could be like a major issue. Yeah. You know, I'm thinking back to Port Moody.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. No names, don't get us in trouble.
Yeah, no, not at all. But it's about like, sometimes, you know, you need to go above and beyond. And in that case, like, I had a conversation with you, and I was able to get some more information about what was going on in that building. Yeah. You know, and realize, like, oh my gosh, like, they got a major expense coming down
might
the
be
road.
More here, right?
Yeah, it could be more, exactly, right? So it's like, you don't want to hold that back. Like, it's, you know, again, we were just talking ethics before the podcast. Like, that's a pretty important thing. Like, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night not letting people know about that information, right?
Well, exactly. Like, you need to protect the clients.
Yeah, we're humans.
As well as the fact, like, you don't want anyone to be pushed into anything. And then that's sort of the thing. Like, even in a slower market, I don't have past clients calling and saying, oh, why the hell did you make me buy this? It's like, we didn't. We gave you all the information, much like we talked at the start of the show. Education is the main purpose of the industry. That's right. And then you make your decision based on everything that's in front of you, right? Yeah. That's why, I mean, even on my cards, my cards say Realty Advisor, because I just give you the advice, and then you make your decision and tell me what to do. Yeah. Right?
Maybe I should change my business card to
It's
home inspector advisor, home advisor,
home advisor. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll work, right? But yeah, this is what I mean. Like it's an education thing, and ultimately we have to try to protect as best we can what we're purchasing. We can't. Nobody's got a crystal ball. If we did, I'd be betting on horses not working. I'll tell you that much.
No. You won't learn that in school, though.
No, apparently not. We were just talking about that before the show too. No. So, as we're talking about like issues that come up in a building, what are some of the most like common red flags or like oh hell no's that you see? Like if you see this, just know that you're probably walking. Right?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like the upkeep of the home. The upkeep of the home. We categorize our findings in 3 ways: blue, orange, and red.
Okay.
In order of priority.
Mm-hmm.
The red are safety, major, water going where it shouldn't.
Yeah. Water, electricity, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
right?
Fires and stuff, right?
Yeah. Right. or components that are past their lifespan.
Okay.
Initially it was like anything that was over $1,000 to fix.
Mm-hmm.
This is going back.
Now everything.
Now it's like, yeah, like you get an HVAC guy out and he's charging you like $600 just to look at it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, what we've done, especially when we were just starting out, we're slow.
Mm-hmm.
We started offering extra services.
Okay.
Sewer scope, home elevation assessment. So we have actually found like that there are some older sewer lines.
Mm-hmm.
that are broken, collapsed, and unless you have that camera and you can run it down the line, most inspectors won't see that. And the plumbing can be running perfectly fine, but there's like a really slow blockage or what's called a belly in the line,
mm-hmm.
and it's slowly backing its way up. And unfortunately, that buyer is not going to see it until 6 months from now, or a year down the road when they have sewage backing up in their crawl space or basement.
It's probably pretty nasty.
Yeah, and you can think about the only way to really replace those is to dig up your concrete and your front lawn.
That'd be a couple bucks, eh?
And it's expensive. So those are underground systems. Underground systems are. So you want to check for oil tanks.
Mm-hmm. Especially like New West has a lot of older places there.
Yeah, for sure.
Oil tank, always check.
Yeah, definitely. Always check for that. And then like just again, getting back to the 4 points, right? Like the roof. What's the roof like?
Yeah.
Is it need replacement? Is it leaking?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get an older roof that's leaking, expect to pay a lot of money, or think about another home.
Yeah, I mean, with the newer roofs, like they seem to be lasting longer. Is this just a opinion thought, or is this actually happening?
that'd be a good question for Shane at Citadel Roofing.
Mm-hmm.
Plug for him there, but he's fantastic. Shane
we'll take him.
Yeah, Shane is like the master. He also does building envelope, like waterproofing.
Yeah,
but yeah, like it all depends on how it's installed, the crew that's up there, and pretty sure the weather has to do a lot with it. Like if they're putting new sheathing down when it's wet or it's raining,
they're probably a little bit trickier. Yeah, I understand.
Or then they put the shingles over top when it's still wet. The components got to dry out, but. Yeah. I think a lot of it is just human error, right? Like you get a good crew on that puts a, like I think it's called like three ply like shingle,
mm-hmm.
Like the more expensive stuff, or you go with the metal. Apparently there's like seamless metal roofs now that are just like,
that's kind of right.
Completely waterproof. Life. They say lifetime warranty.
Oh,
yeah.
That seems like a pretty reasonable warranty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It's just, like. How long you plan on having the house for?
And I guess if we want to touch base on it, dealing with the exteriors, can you explain for some of our listeners who may not know, because a lot of the condos and that, what exactly is rain screening?
Okay, rain screening.
And is there any easy way to tell if it is or not?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe tell the guys what to.
So if to look, if like. Oh, we got the camera on here, but basically, like I'll try to describe it using my hands. When they're building the house or any sort of structure, you have the framing,
mm-hmm.
right? There's a framing. They put the sheathing over top of that.
Yep.
Over top of that framing, there's usually a vapor barrier or some sort of insulation. And then back in the day, they would just put whatever siding right over top of it, right? Like your stucco or your wood. Vinyl has a little bit of a gap.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was with those other materials is that wind-driven rain, water vapor will get inside. They'll get behind no matter what. We just live in a climate.
We live in a rainforest.
Where it's going to happen. Yeah, right? So when it gets, and it's not like the wind-driven rain. I mean, it's the water that's getting through.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, like, what the sun does when it hits those areas, it doesn't necessarily dry the surface.
Mm-hmm.
It actually pushes the water through the material.
Okay.
And then it gets to the next layer. So it goes from the siding onto the plywood or sheathing. That starts to rot.
Yeah, it gets softer and softer.
Keeps going through. Then it gets to the framing, and then you got issues. With rain screening, they built in a little, like a built-in gap.
Okay.
That sits between the siding material and the sheathing,
Mm-hmm.
with little vents on the bottom. And apparently, scientifically, it creates like a high pressure or low pressure.
Okay, so just sort of cycles through, basically.
So it cycles through to dry it out. And if there's bulk water that gets in, it has the capability to run down to the bottom.
And then
how you identify it for that second part of the question is if you look on buildings in between each level,
mm-hmm.
like underneath the balcony, or you'll see like this horizontal strip of metal.
Okay.
That runs across. That will usually indicate rain screening.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. That's a good thing.
It is, yeah. Especially we talk because we're in New West. My first job was at the Paddle Wheeler Pub when I moved here in 2008 as a bartender. And I remember like having clients coming in who were just like, oh, I just got like 100. It was like,
because
25,000 from the key, right? All those in the key. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't really know what rain screening is. But that's funny. I just did one on the key yesterday.
Yeah.
Concrete. This is a concrete building, so I didn't really have to worry too much about it. But rain screening is important. Since 2005,
mm-hmm.
I think they made it like a requirement.
Yeah.
That most buildings have to have the rain screening on it.
Yeah, which is good for our current climate. I mean, that makes sense in a rainforest that you should probably have something to handle rain.
Yeah.
Weird.
And the eaves stucco is also really bad too.
Okay.
Eaves, it's like it looks like stucco, but it's got like an insulation right behind it.
Okay.
And those are just garbage. They got them from California. Someone thought it'd be great to bring them up here.
Oh, the California stucco?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
Definitely know exactly what you're talking about. Dumb idea. We're not in California.
Yeah, we're not even close. Oh, yeah, plane right away, but different climate.
So, as you mentioned, we've both been running around New West for a while. New West has a lot of really old homes, 100-year plus. And are there any special particular challenges or considerations to take between really old homes and the newer ones? I mean, obviously, knob and tube wiring would be a big issue. But are there any other certain considerations to really take into account when you're dealing with a century home and anything, hell, even in the 90s? There's differences to even now, 2026.
Right? Yeah. Like the older components, especially around insurance. Like knob and tube wiring is no bueno for most insurance companies. Aluminum wiring,
that's
is a big one too. Older copper.
Mm-hmm.
Copper can be an issue.
Okay,
right? It develops little pinhole leaks over time.
Mm-hmm.
And you get like stains or water stain or moisture on ceilings in certain areas, which can lead to mold.
Yeah.
It's also like I think we've been doing it long enough that we like to report on like just recommendations in the home, like GFCI protection missing in a kitchen or in a bathroom, or like handrails missing in certain stairs. I know that a lot of those older homes, like if you got someone who's in a wheelchair with a mobility issue, probably not the best place for them to live.
Fair enough, right?
So I mean, again, we never talk anyone out of it, but we make that information known to people.
Yeah, just something maybe really oversight, and they not realizing, oh yeah, maybe that's not a great idea.
Yes. And the other thing too is with an older one, prepare to spend a little bit more money for maintenance and budgeting, unless it's been upgraded.
Yeah. Which some have not. It's kind of funny we do get asked sometimes on the sales side about the age of the home and is it too old? And I always sort of associate it with, a classic car. Like you can have a done up 67 GTO. If you took care of it, you got a classic. If you didn't, you got a lawn ornament.
That's
so
exactly,
it depends on, was this taken care of? Did somebody care?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the same with
and
the
was it done
Stratus.
properly too?
Yeah,
That's always a huge thing, right?
Yeah. Because that's one of the things with the Stratas as well, is that they, you can find an older Strata building, and as long as it's been maintained, it's all good. But if it hasn't been driven into the ground, you're buying a money pit. Yeah. It's gonna suck.
And we've been doing this long enough that I know as soon as I drive up or drive into the complex, I'm like, okay, I think this one will be all right. You know? Where it's like, ooh.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah. Right. All right. So just from even looking at the depreciation report, scanning through that, looking at the numbers, looking at, the upcoming repairs, it's
it can be dodgy. That's the thing with the depreciation reports, though, is that they kind of need to be taken with a grain of salt, and you need to compare them with what's actually happening. If the depreciation report says that the elevator is going to stop in 2026, it doesn't mean that January 1st kaput.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to take a look at how things been doing. The fact that we call it a depreciation report out west is so caustic, because back east they called it, a reserve fund study, which is what it actually is.
That's right.
But out here it just sounds like, it's depreciation. Everything's going to go, right?
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that we have to take into account. Now, as an inspector, do you guys read any of those documents at all, or okay? But do most, or is that just a you thing?
I think it's I don't really know the answer to that question. I've never asked anyone else. I think some inspectors will try to, but I mean, it can be overwhelming. I know the first few that I went through. Yeah, they are right. I like to just go right to the numbers.
Yeah.
And then look at the 5-year, 10-year, and 20-year capital expenditures.
Yeah.
That are coming up at those times, because you think about people living there. It's like first time buyer. How long are you going to be there?
Yeah.
Usually 5 years, 7 years, right? Yeah. Or you get the person that is the family that's downsizing, and they're like, well, I'm planning to live here until
I go out in the boxes. Until I
kick the bucket. Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's but yeah, we'll definitely go through those.
Okay, that's good. And it's funny actually. When I tell a lot of my clients who are buying into a strata, I said, these minutes are going to be very dry, but that's what we want. We want boring minutes.
Yeah.
If it's exciting, that means there's problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want really boring minutes. And on a personal note, when it was probably my second or third year, I was trying to sell a place out in Surrey, which we won't name any names so that I don't get in trouble.
Yep.
But I received all of the documents, and this was still when they'd print them out. And that, so they'd get this big stack of paper.
150 pages worth.
Yeah, except the AGM, the annual general meeting, which is usually when they have the big stuff, voting on the bylaws, doing this, that, and the other. 1 page, front and back. I'm like, what the hell? These guys forgot to print the thing. Meeting ended with cops showing up. There is apparently a huge conflict, and they actually had to call the police because people were about to throw hands and stuff. I'm like, you don't want to buy this building.
Absolutely not. Not if they're
not a healthy running building.
They're ready to throw down.
Yeah. So it's funny as I say, you want boring minutes, just boring minutes.
That's right.
Everything will be cool.
Yeah, exactly. like Kathy's cat is clawing at the door.
Yeah.
Or the dog is barking down the hallway.
Yeah, exactly. Simple stuff. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. Now, when you're doing your inspections, what are some of the typical tools that you use and recommend for people? Make sure that your inspector is showing up with such.
Yeah, of course. And I didn't bring any with me. Yeah, I have them in the van. But a flashlight obviously is important, right?
Fair enough.
So I gotta say that. A good quality thermal imaging camera is probably the second most important thing. For people that don't know thermal imaging, it's essentially just measuring the heat that's radiated off of an object. So you think if there's a leak on, on a ceiling or wall, it's usually going to pick it up. And man, I picked up like just tiny little minuscule like pinhole copper leaks.
Yeah.
That you can't really see. Out. Yeah, or you can't see, like it looks fine in the ceiling until you get the thermal camera. And then we always verify it with what's called a protimeter or moisture meter.
Okay.
See those little handheld like gray and yellow.
Oh, I hear those screaming in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Because we're checking. Yeah. That's how we'll verify if an area actually has moisture or is wet. So those three. I mean, flashlight obviously is important, but the thermal imaging and the protimeter.
With the moisture meter, though, like for instance, when you're checking in a bathroom. If somebody took a shower in the morning, how are you able to get a reasonable read here, or are you just picking up that guy just had a shower?
So it's measuring the amount of density of a material up to like it'll measure I think up to like half an inch behind where you place it.
Okay.
So it won't pick up the water on the surface.
Okay, so
it'll go behind there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I was always wondering like if someone just took a shower, like of course it's moist. Like,
duh. The thing is that if there is any gaps in the caulking or the grout, and it gives off reading, then you know that there's moisture behind there.
Okay.
I think too is like we got hands, so what I'll do is I'll actually like press on like the tile, or an area just to see how if it's soft and if it's got some flexion.
Yeah.
Then man, there's some framing issues happening.
Yeah.
Happening there, or I've seen like I had an inspector and he would like bang on the tile to the point where like the grout would start to flake off.
I don't know if that's a good idea, man. You're damaging the
I know, you end up like putting a hole through the wall. Yeah, I mean you just do it gently, but I think like the finger test is a good way to tell.
Okay, that's a good piece of advice. I guess people can even kind of do that on their own when they're first looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of squishy. I don't want to do that
one. For newer inspectors, we're always trying to tell them that now they'll use like that green, like concrete, like it's like a concrete board or that waterproof board, and that gives off false readings. On the protimeter, so you have to use it, with caution.
Yeah, I guess.
Or get a baseline measurement of what it is, and then if it jumps up in a certain area, okay, maybe there's moisture in there.
Yeah.
But I think for homeowners, like just check your caulking, check the caulking between the tub and the tile, check your grout. If there's cracks, it's in an area where there's water is going to splash. Like if it's at the back of your tub, usually kind of safe unless you're doing a shower for two, and the water's getting back there, which is okay if that's you got something to deal with, right? Yeah, cool. But if it's in that that general area like where you stand, no matter what, you want to seal it up.
Yeah, caulking is actually one of the ones that we perpetually have to do in all of our rentals because it just over time goes and it's funny because we'll do our inspections and the tenant, if they're home, will say, "Oh, yeah, we just couldn't get that clean." I'm like, "Yeah, that's because it's failing. Like, don't worry about it. The reason why your caulking's turning dark and gray and weird colors is because it's failing. It's not you. Don't worry, guys."
Yeah.
But they eventually get like nervous. "Oh no, it's no, we're not dirty." Like, no, you're not. It's not your fault.
Although I have a suggestion for you. Next time you have a new tenant that moves in, go to the dollar store and get them one of those little squeegees and just place it on the shower head. And tell us, like, whenever you're done the shower, just squeegee off
and it helps sort of prolong the caulking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good tip for all landlords and anybody who's listening, really.
Yeah, that's right.
So you were giving all the tips away.
Yeah.
All with education.
Because that's what everybody wants to do when they're done in the shower. It's like, oh, okay, let's squeegee the tile, but it does extend lifespan.
I've got an all glass one, so I do just so that I don't have to deal with all the dots.
Do you?
Yeah, because I'm lazy.
Okay, all right, there you go. Yeah.
The dots on the glass. So annoying, right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
So now, when you find your findings, that's a really good way to put that, eh? So when you find that, you mentioned that you do a report. How long does it take to get the report? How in-depth is it? How do you purvey what you found?
Yeah. Hey, we got a fantastic software that we use. Spector is the name of it. And basically, we're able to gather most of our information while we're on site, and we're putting it in this thing right here, all our findings will go in there.
Yeah.
We already have them preloaded. We have a template
Okay.
created. So by the time we leave site, like today I did a 1,800 square foot duplex.
Okay.
From 2003. It took me about 2 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes with the walkthrough. And I did the report. And there's I'd say a little more stuff than I would used to find.
Yeah.
I think I had that report done in maybe about 40 minutes.
Okay, so it's pretty quick. So usually you'll get it out the same day.
That's our policy, same day reports.
That's super helpful because time is of the essence in all the contracts.
Of course.
Right? So
for commercial inspections, we do 24 hours. Although we are getting into like the reserve fund studies where we're going to start giving cost estimates.
Okay.
So that's going to take a little
just
bit.
Just because you got to get the calls back from the guys you're talking like Citadel and whatnot to see how much this is going to cost.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So
he just gave you a shout out, Shane.
Right?
Citadel, all right. Citadel roofing. Yeah.
So like you're making sure that the numbers are right because you don't want to be shooting from the hip, right?
No, not at all. Not man, I've heard stories of like a company in Toronto. They did an inspection on a hotel and they ended up back in there. They didn't back out, but the bank ended up taking over the hotel. Yeah, it was too much. And they had to do like roofing repairs.
Yeah.
And I think they were off by like $60,000 on their estimate. They took it to the judge. And the judge made the inspection company cover the difference. Like, I know, right? Yeah. Just like how risky is that? So you need to definitely do your homework.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's stay in your lane, right? I get asked about stuff about mortgages all the time. I'm like, I think it's this, but call your mortgage broker because I'm not licensed for that.
That's right.
It ain't my
Yeah.
Same as some realtors I see all the time. Again, throwing my industry under the bus a little bit. I'm sure I'll get some flack, but like when I watch some realtors come in and say, "Oh, this place will rent for that," I'm like, "Are you on crack?" Like, no, it won't. Yeah. But it's not my place. Right? You talk to your clients and do your thing. But
we had someone reach out to us to ask us a price, and the realtor was asking on site too, like, "So how much do you think all this is going to cost to fix it?" And I'm like, ballpark, it's in my software. Like, I'm like, it's all just an estimate.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to text the amount. And I did that, but again, I had a little disclaimer below it.
Keep out of jail, man.
Yeah. And the best thing is we do follow-up calls with our clients and the realtors on both sides. On both sides. And, Christine, our general manager, she ended up calling the listing agent and was like, "So just want to get some feedback, that's a question, like how did everything go?" And he's like, "Well, your inspector gave a price to fix this," and he like listed all the things and was like added them all up. He's like, "There's no way it would cost $5,000." And she's like, "Well, it's just a price estimate." So we had a meeting about that, and we feel like it's probably not something that we should continue doing moving forward.
Stay out of the pool, right?
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, like, we have like the contractors on our report, so like people can just reach out to them.
Yeah, and that's a good way to get it from the horse's mouth, because chances are, if you like said contractor, they're probably going to be doing the work. So then, if they give you the wrong number, they're the ones with the egg on the face, and you'll look like a dummy.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, with any prospective buyers or sellers doing in property inspections, what are some of the main things that they should be asking the inspector to make sure that they are working with somebody that they think is competent and will know what they're doing, and that, like, as a realtor, we can't pick an inspector because that would be a conflict of interest. Like, I can get my Uncle Bob to come in and be like, "Yeah, everything's good, don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So for somebody who's interviewing inspectors, which everyone should do because you're putting together your team, what are some good questions to ask to kind of make sure that they know what they're doing?
Yeah. I think it's, the first thing is, that the availability, like we always try to tell the clients, and like, this inspection's for you. When it's a time that you want it to work, we can accommodate that. And then the second is, just building that relationship with them. And it starts with that phone call. It starts with, explaining what our scope of work is.
Yeah.
Our background, I like to tell people about, my teaching background.
That makes sense.
And that, that everyone is different, and how they receive information.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially like with the personality types, depending on who you're dealing with. Like some people, it's just like, give me the Coles notes. Like, what are the big ticket items? Let's move on. Whereas you get some people more amiables, where it's like, okay, it's all right. Come on, I'll hold your hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we go through that. So in the end, it's like, what's the value that they're offering?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, are you communicating findings in a non-alarming way? Right?
Which is important. The alarming ways, especially with first-time buyers. Holy hell. I've seen some inspectors come in and just scare the bejesus out of them. And they're like, I'm never buying anything.
Yeah.
Just freak out.
And that it's okay to ask questions.
Absolutely.
I've seen and it was tough for me when I first started. You have some people that they're like, I feel like it's almost like them being nervous, to the point where it's like, and it's always like when you mention like something small, like a cracked cover plate on an outlet, and then everything else after that is magnified, and it's like, and it's just like, okay, like let's take a step back, set the expectations, happily answer the questions, and be okay, being there for them.
Yeah. Oh, I have to ask this. This actually just came to mind because we were talking about questions. Has ChatGPT screwed up your industry? Like, do people go on there and they'll come in thinking that everything's like ChatGPT? Because I'm
like, how so?
Like they'll go look up something on ChatGPT and then all of a sudden think that get that answer from AI and they go, this is it. That's it.
No, but I've had people ask me 20 questions that they got off.
It just listed one after another. You know what the prompt was?
Yes, exactly. pretty much. And I'm just like, okay, almost like, can I use ChatGPT to answer all these questions? But it's like, no, I'll go through.
I've seen it coming in, some people are using it for legal matters or pretty much anything. And so I was just wondering if that, sort of like when you look up stubbing your toe on the internet, and inevitably it always leads to you've got heart cancer and
you're gonna die. That's so funny.
So I was just wondering, did that affect your industry as well? Like with people reading up and then thinking they know it all because ChatGPT said that, and there's something to do. I'm not taking away from AI, but there's also something to do with having multiple years of experience looking at this stuff.
That's for sure. Yeah, it's I haven't really encountered too much of that. Again, I think about the person who had the 20 questions that were all GPT generated.
Yeah.
But I think that, based on how we market and we brand ourselves and my experience level, that, people know that I'm not the, I guess I use the word expert or the professional, and that, they can trust me.
Yeah.
They can trust me too. Yeah.
You have to be able to trust your entire team. You need your realtor to be trustworthy. You need or property manager or both, whatever. You need your mortgage broker to be trustworthy. Yeah. You need your inspector. You need everyone to be working for the same goal, which is to cover you, the client.
That's
not
right.
for themselves.
Yeah,
and that's the big thing.
And I just thought of the Port Moody condo.
Yeah,
when we did that second inspection, how happy that he was just like.
This one is all good.
Yeah, and just like the gratitude, him thanking us for what happened in the first one and guiding him through that. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
So if someone is looking to get a hold of you and ask you more questions, what's the best way to find you and touch base?
Call the phone. Yeah. I mean, even we have our office number. If it's important, I'll give out my personal number. You can hand out my personal number to them.
Perfect. Yeah. So we'll have all of that in the description below. Yeah. So it'd be easier for people to find you.
Yeah. We're on Instagram too. Instagram, Facebook.
Lots of Instagram.
Trying to get more LinkedIn. I've got to get more. Someone said I should use LinkedIn more.
Yeah. Nice.
And we're hiring too.
Well, thank you. Oh, you're hiring. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, man. And
appreciate you, Hayes. Thank you.
Doing more.
It was a blast.
And now, if you've been listening this long, we appreciate it very much. My name is Hayes. This has been Bamboo, Vancouver's property management and investment podcast.